Good morning. It's morning.
Good morning. There's no good evening. It's good morning.
I know. Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Live in Conversation. My name is Daphnée Antoine.
And I am Daphnée Camilien. Good morning.
Good morning. Daphnée Camilien and I we go live usually on Wednesday evening, but
That's
today we just wanna do a quick live to say hello and then to answer questions that those of us who may have for Attorney Camilien. So this conversation is just a Q&A with Attorney Camilien for questions about the humanitarian parole. And so if you are watching this right now, you have any question or you know anyone who may have a question, uh, come on live, share, comment, take advantage of this wonderful resource that you and I have to get our question answered. So with that being said, let's get into with our disclosure.
sure. I am an attorney. Anything I say does not enter anyone into any type of attorney-client privilege or relationship. And the information that I'm saying is only for information purposes only and entertainment. Um, Daphnée Renee Antoine is a financial entrepreneur. Anything she says does not enter her in any type of fiduciary duty with anyone listening, and all information that she states is for information and entertainment purposes only. Thank you.
Awesome,
I'm gonna
awesome.
adjust myself. Sorry.
Yeah, it's good.
My lighting, all that stuff we're doing on the spot. Let's see if that's
On the spot. Well, thank you for to those of you who are joining. I see you typing your questions. As you are doing that, Tony Camille is just gonna update us on some quick immigration updates. So this is our legal segment.
sure. Right now, there's there's a couple little things going on. The State Department is going to launch a program later this year, offering visa renewals for people who are here on the H-1B visa. H-1B visa is usually people who are mostly people think about it like computer people who get people like they have special visas to come work in the United States for special occupations. A lot of times I say computers because it's a lot of people who are here that they go and get from other countries are people who are here in the IT field. So they're doing a special program that offers them renewals so that they don't have to go back to their country to get renew their visas. They can stay in the U.S. That's for a special visa called H-1B visa. There's all type of stuff going on with immigration at all times. There is a right now we are in what they call a comment period, and that is USCIS has announced that they were going to increase fees for several applications, including the green card application. So the I-130 application. So the fees for these applications are set to increase. We are in a comment period, meaning that they have told everyone, hey, we're going to increase these fees. What do you think about that? Are you for it? Are you against it? Once that comment period is over, which is around supposed to be March 6th, then if they can go ahead and increase the fees if they decide it's going to be permanent, which is it hasn't been increased in a long time. So more than likely, the fees will be increased. So heads up, if there's some type of application that you're interested in, make sure that you get it in before, or just be aware that the fees could be going up. If you're working on your application but you haven't submitted it yet, please be aware that it could be a new application. It could be just like I said, your fees have to be correct. I would double check before I mailed out anything. Whether, especially if you're doing something on your own, you can go to uscis.gov. USCIS. If you're doing anything with immigration, you should familiarize yourself with USCIS.gov. They have lots and lots of information on the type of whatever application you're trying to do, and it will have updated amounts. So what happens if you send in your application with the wrong amount? It will get rejected and the whole thing will come back to you. So don't waste time. Make sure you send the proper amount out. The other thing I want to tell you, we are TPS is still being renewed for Haitians. There's TPS for several countries, but I'm just going to address TPS, which is temporary protected status. If you've already have TPS and you want to keep your TPS, you have to re-register. There is a deadline for re-registration. It is March 27th, 2023. So you must re-register for your TPS by March 27th, 2023. I highly suggest you don't delay, and it does cost a fee. So make sure you go to uscis.gov and make sure you get the forms and go ahead and do that. That's the latest in immigration news. Back to you, Daphnée.
Awesome. Thank you as always for keeping us updated. We appreciate it. So with that being said, Attorney Camilien can be reached via her website camilienlaw.com or 847-410-9022. 847-410-9022. So great information. If you see the valuable, we encourage you to share this live. We encourage you to ask any question that you may have, as well as connect other people. So this is gonna be our time for the Q&A now. So feel free to type in your questions. And so one question that I've been asked is that, so with the I-134A,
Mm-hmm.
so often, so for people who maybe like applying for a green card for someone else, and then so they already file a form I-134, will that need to be stated in the application?
Oh, so you said if someone is applying for a green card for someone else, so
Yes.
they did an I-130, so
I
they
want
already
34, yeah.
no. So the I-134A is for the humanitarian parole, right? But if they filed for a green card, they filled a petition for an alien relative, that's an I-130. If
Mm.
they've already done that and they have like a pending application and they did um, their financial affidavit and all this stuff like that, do you have to disclose that when you're doing an
Exactly.
I-134A for someone else? No, it doesn't ask you that, right? So the other application is pending, and so it hasn't been approved for the person yet, and they don't ask you that. They just ask you. In fact, in the I-134A application that's online, it asks you, have you ever filed for another person for I-134A? That's the question. And so if you have just the humanitarian parole, if you've done it for another person, you click yes, and then it asks you for the person's name, I believe a birth date, and the date you filed is what they ask. And if you filed for 5 people, you can add as many people as you want. If this is the first time you're filing for the humanitarian parole for a person, then you would write no, and then it would go on to the next question. But the fact that you've already done an application for someone else is not going to affect your ability to do the I-134A. They're looking right. I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, that's great clarification, because people may assume that since you are already applying for somebody else, then you should include it as part of your overall application.
No.
No. All
No.
right, all right.
Yeah.
So let's see in the comments. Uh, Someone said thank you for this info. So we cannot see who you are because you have to give StreamYard permission. But then yes, you are very welcome. We are here to share information, and feel free to ask any question that you may have. So next question for Attorney Camilien. So is the U.S. government limiting how many individuals are allowed to enter the United States under these processes?
So right now, as we stand, you remember it's 30,000 people, and it's for 4 countries. Excuse me, it's for 4 countries, which is Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. They don't say how many people per country, right? So, I just say 7,500 per country. If it was a rough, like, not even rough, exact calculation, but we have no idea. But that's what I would say, So, and that's each month until the program is ended. And we don't know when the program's, remember, there's supposed to be some type of pending lawsuit to try to stop the program. So we'll see what happens. But that's where we're at right now with that.
And then, so like, once someone submit the application, like, what should they expect now?
So if I submit an application for, my favorite example is Suzette. So I
love Suzette.
If she was American, it would be Susie Q. So Suzette, let's say, for example, in Haiti. So I submit the application for Suzette. I get an email in my USCIS account saying that action has been taken on your application, and basically it's a receipt of what I filled out, right? So it's a receipt that gives her a notice number, a receipt number, right? And that's what you use to look up at USCIS to see what's going on with the case. And it will have her name on it. It would have my name on it. And then that's that, right? Then, how long, this kind of goes into a lot of questions that people are asking.
So how long will it take?
Right. So then we don't know, right? So people are in a frenzy, and I keep telling people to just relax a little bit. I understand, it's frustrating. They want to get here. They're hearing about other people, getting here immediately. But remember, it goes back to the first question. There's 30,000 people a month. The program started, I believe, like January 6th.
Yeah.
We're a month into this. Ideally, it was probably renewed, February 1st, the new 30,000. So 30,000, for example, I'm going to use the example of Haiti, or even all of them. They didn't approve 30,000 Haitian people to come, right? They didn't approve 30,000 Cubans or 30,000 Venezuelans, or, you know what I'm saying? So not everybody came immediately. Relax. People are telling stories. They are approving people. What I initially heard was 2,000 and 1,000 came for 2,000. So in January, it could have been more. We'll see. So basically, next steps is you wait for an email from you. I don't know who's the name on the email, but USCIS, the immigration, sends an email to the beneficiary. So I would be called the sponsor. The person who I'm sponsoring is called the beneficiary. They get an email that says, pretty much an application was done for you. They actually get two emails. The first is saying it was done for you. And then the second email has a special code. And that code is telling them, and then the email tells them to set up an account, their own USCIS account, and enter that special code. And then once they enter that special code, they have to wait. They have to look at, is their name accurate? There's some questions they ask them, right? And then once they submit their questions, then they wait again. And they have to be vetted. And then once they're approved, they're told you're approved. You have 90 days to travel to the U.S. So that whole process could be, I did it for a person, I think it was January 9th, and they've received their email at the end of January, and they've done their part, and now they're just waiting to be approved, right? So we're about a month in, and so we're waiting,
Okay. When you say they did their part, you are talking about the beneficiary, correct?
The beneficiary set up their account, because the beneficiary has a certain amount of days, like 90 days to set up their account as well. So they have to set up their account with USCIS once they set it up, and then they have to go through, follow the instructions as to what they're asking. Is this your name? Is this your passport number? Things of that.
They'll attest to the information.
Right. Yeah. They're confirming the information, because if they travel, if they ask them, is this your passport information? Sponsor messed up their passport. They need to fix it, because they actually have to travel, and they're going to be using this information.
Yeah, makes sense. So we do have a question from the audience. I receive a confirmation email from USCIS. Does the beneficiary receive a confirmation email also?
No,
Mm.
no. So you tell them you got the confirmation email, and then that's it, right? So you can, so you'll get the you can forward the email to the beneficiary so they see it. They maybe calm them a little bit, then let them know they're in the
You
process.
submitted it.
Yeah, but see, it works both ways. So keep in mind, the beneficiary needs to check their email consistently, right? Not 10 times a day, but at least once a day. And they have to understand too, when they get their email from USCIS, me, sponsor, will not get an email. I won't know when they got their email.
Mm.
So they have to, that's why it's very important that they have their own email address.
That's great clarification. And then so because I mean I experience this. I know people who say, "Oh, I did not receive the email. You're not getting anything." That's basically what you're telling us right now. And
Right.
then when USCIS contact them, we do not get anything. So it's
No.
vice versa. Uh,
I
any? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It kind of feels like it's a weed out process, right? You're either on it or you're not. You're
Mhm.
either gonna take care of business. If you miss it, you miss it. Unfortunately. So because the way it seems like this is what it is. There's no little extra help. There's no, you know, I don't know. It just feels like you have to be paying attention. You have to, because the other issue is, if you have difficulty getting minutes on for the internet, can you go to internet cafes? Some of these areas it's not that easy. Um, what happens if you can't read it because it's in English? Are you capable of putting like Google Translate? All that stuff like that. You got, so that's kind of what I say. Like, it's not necessarily made for the 80-year-old grandma. 80-year-old grandma has to be able to say, hey, I need someone to help me, or check my email, or they might not have an email account. You know what I'm saying? So it just feels kind of like you gotta be on it or have someone help you.
Yeah, and that's not something that the I'm sorry, the petitioner, the sponsor. That's
Right.
not something that the sponsor can do for you. You technically have to do it in your home country.
You have to, because this is what's tricky about it, right? So as a sponsor, I have to put my email. I'll just give you an example. If I was a sponsor, I'd have to put my email. I cannot, when it asks you for the beneficiary's email, it tells you do not put the sponsor's
Yes.
email.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put a different email.
Mm-hmm.
If you set up the way they're doing it, I know there's a point in the process where they ask you to download an app to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
They also ask you to take a picture, probably within the app.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably makes sense that I can't take a picture of myself here or
Mm-hmm.
download it to my own phone here, right? Because they're
Yeah.
going to be comparing,
Yes.
so it makes sense to follow the directions as to what
Yes.
they're doing, and just try to get help to someone you can trust, because otherwise, um, you can't put someone else's picture in there. It has to be yours.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
you
and the
just,
internet address too can be tracked. So just
yeah.
FYI. I heard thank you for okay, Attorney Camilien.
Oh, I did, sir.
Yeah, no. Okay, so that's a good pause to take to reintroduce ourselves. My name is Daphnée Antoine. I'm in the Chicagoland area, sharing resources to help family thrive. And I am live with Attorney Camilien. She's also in the Chicagoland area. However, as an attorney, she can service anyone throughout the U.S. state. With that being said, we are having a conversation about the humanitarian parole, and she is here to answer questions. So if you or anyone you know have any questions regarding the humanitarian process, uh, come alive, ask your questions, and share it with other people. So that being said, I heard someone said they are prioritizing um, sponsors who are living in Florida. Have you heard something like that or not really? That's what I heard. I heard because we are in Illinois,
Right.
and so
Sorry.
we haven't. I mean, I don't know anyone who received it. In Illinois, but some people hear that a lot of people in Florida are getting it, so they're thinking that they are prioritizing sponsors from Florida. So I'm guessing no,
No.
right?
I think politically, um, if they were trying to flood Florida, you know, with, there are more, if we're talking about Haitians, even Cubans, there are more Haitians and Cubans in Florida, right, than probably anywhere in the United States. So the idea that there are more applicants from those states are more likely, and therefore they're more likely to get a response quicker because there's just way more, just numbers, statistics wise. We don't have, Chicagoland area, we don't have as much, so, or like, for example, Montana, let's say it was Montana.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people applying. It's just not going to be as much. So, no, I haven't heard anything of the sort. But
All right, all right. So now you hear it. Okay, now we know.
Yeah.
It's a process. Follow the process. Be patient. Follow direction. And if you can do it by yourself, go ahead and do it. But if you need assistance, you can reach out to Attorney Camilien at chameleonlaw.com. So chameleonlaw.com, you see her name here on the screen. Or you can also reach out at 847 410 9022. That's 847-410-9022. And so without any more questions, we just want to say thank you for being live with us. We look forward to being live with you all again next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. And if you have any specific question, Attorney Camilien can do maybe like a 10 minutes free consultation. So you can reach out to her again, 847-410-9022. Please like, share, and follow us on YouTube, chameleonlaw.com, Camilien Law on YouTube, and follow us on our Facebook page. That anything you want to add, Attorney Camilien?
Nope.
All right, all right. Well, thank you once again. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.